Hey, hello, what's up, my fellow boxing fans? I'm back in a new edition with a new haircut. Yeah, to bring you the 55th prediction video. This weekend we have several good fights to look forward to actually. Let's start right away. Well, first taking the less interesting fights. There's a fight on Friday in Reno, Nevada, and it's for the vacant WBO lightweight title. It features two uh, veterans. First is Raimundo Beltran, who you many of you know as the guy who should have gotten the decision against Ricky Burns way back in 2013. He knocked him down and broke his jaw, but only got a draw. Yeah, after that he lost to Terence Crawford. Beltran is a very good, tough fighter. He's only been stopped by Ahmed Diaz, very hard puncher, and Steve Trumbull. I don't know, that was in the beginning of his career. And oh, sorry, the other opponent, his opponent is Paulus Moses, from Namibia, who quite long time ago was the WBA lightweight champion, who was beaten by Miguel Acosta 2010. And he's also fought and lost to Ricky Burns. Yeah, Beltran is the favorite here because not only is he 3 years younger than Moses, but his recent record indicates that he has been in higher profile fights and he's also won them all. He beat Brian Vasquez in his last fight, and he's a very good fighter. And Jonathan Maicello, he knocked out in 2 rounds only, and Mason Menard also he knocked out. So his last blemish is from 2015, but that was a no decision, and because Beltran actually won that fight, but by TKO in the second round, but it was soon it turned out that he was on a banned substance. So anyway, as I said, Beltran is the favorite, of course, and Moses has been knocked out once by Acosta, Miguel. So that's, I mean, yeah, perhaps Beltran can stop him. I'd say so. It's a 12-round fight, so I'd actually be surprised if Moses managed to last the distance. It's also on Beltran's territory, you might say. He's from Mexico, but he's based in Phoenix, so this fight is in Nevada, so. I think he will win by TKO, perhaps 8th or 9th, 10th round, something like that. Beltran, yeah. That's right. Yeah, then let's go to the next fight. There are a few, fights that are kind of interesting, but I don't want to take up too much time by talking about them. Yeah, and then, okay, the next fight is, come on, Yeah, this is just, yeah, well, hmm, maybe we should say something about one of these fights. Yeah, there is a fight in Germany, yeah, Vincent Feigenbutz versus Reno Liebenberg. It's IBF Intercontinental Super Middleweight title fight. Yeah, these guys, they are both kind of solid, but not world class, of course. Feigenbutz was the interim WBA champion before, and then he was stopped by Giovanni De Carolis. And Reno Liebenberg, he's actually more like a heavyweight contender. He's going down now. Well, he's not so tall for a light heavyweight, so I mean, not too big, not too tall, so he can make the weight alright, I guess. Uh, yeah, his best victory was against Denis Grachev, and that was a while ago, 2014. He also beat Johnny Miller from South Africa. He lost to, first was stopped by Eladir Alvarez, and then lost to Thomas Ostruizen by split decision, and Eric Skoglund, and twice to Enrico Curling, all by decision. Of course, Feigenbutz is you know, the favorite. He's at home, fighting at home, and perhaps also slightly harder puncher. He has 24 knockouts in 27 victories. He just has 2 losses, while Liebenberg has 5. Even though Liebenberg has fought the better fighters. So this might go the distance. Yeah, I think it will. So I think Feigenbutz will win on points. Maybe even might even be close, like a majority or a split decision. Yeah, yeah. Doing some Al Pacino impersonation. Yeah. Okay. Then there is the big car in England. Yeah, in Manchester Arena. First, let's go to the smaller Fight. It's Tommy Langford is making a comeback after he was, as you remember, last April he was brutally knocked out by Avtandil Gutsidze, who is now in jail, I guess. Since then, he's had one small fight against a total bum to the 6th rounder, but now he's fighting a 12 rounder against Jack Arnfield. It's for the British middleweight title, actually. And this guy, Jack Arnfield, I don't know, I never heard, but he's beaten Brian Rose actually on points. He's not a puncher, so he has 6 knockouts in 25 victories, 2 defeats. He's lost to Nick Blackwell, and he's lost to this guy, Sal Randa, but it was a prize fighter tournament, only 3 rounds, so it was a split decision. So I guess this guy can box, but still, yeah, I don't know. Tommy Langford, I guess he's solid. He stopped Timo Line and Robert Swiarzbinski, and yeah. So I guess, is the hard puncher, even though he only has 6 knockouts, but in 19 victories. But English fighters, in many other British fighters, they, for some reason, they don't always score as many knockouts as they can, or should have. It's so sometimes a guy has just a few knockouts on his resume, but it doesn't mean he can't hit. It's just that they are, get kind of cautious, and perhaps they are not the best finishers. So I think Tommy Langford, he does have power. So Jack, but this will perhaps go the distance because this guy Arnfield, he's never been stopped, and he's fought Nick Blackwell, who I guess has about as much power as Langford. Yeah, so perhaps Tommy Langford can pull off a late stoppage, but I think it's best to bet on a UD, unanimous decision for Langford. Yes. Then there is a featherweight fight actually on the same card. It's Ryan Walsh, who holds the British featherweight title, is defending against Isaac Lowe, who is 14-0. And both guys have fought Dennis Ceylon. And Walsh, he dropped a split decision to Ceylon, but while Lowe, he fought to a technical draw. Yeah, Ryan Walsh is the favorite, I guess. Yeah, he's lost to Lee Selby otherwise, and yeah, that's no shame. I guess he's more like perhaps, well, he has some power at least. He scored two fifth-round stoppages in a row, and he won his last fight against Marco McCullough by TKO in the 11th round. So yeah, Isaac Lowe. I don't really know anything about this guy, but I think we can bet on Walsh to win, perhaps even by a TKO. Yeah. Yes, and then a big fight. The biggest fight on this card is between George Groves and Chris Eubank Jr. Of course, yeah. For the IPO and WBA titles. Groves is the WBA champion, and Eubank Jr. is the IBO champion. This is the semi-final of the Super Series, of course. Yeah, well, you gotta favor, I guess, Eubank Jr., because since he lost to Billy Joe Saunders for 3 years ago, he's really, been a totally different fighter, and yeah, he's almost stopped everyone except Arthur Abraham, and you know, he just knows how to fight. This guy, he has actually power. It has turned out he has some serious power when he knocked out Yildirim in only 3 rounds in October. That was really very impressive. But George Groves, of course, is not an easy opponent by any means. He also is famous for his right hand, right hook, which has even dropped Carl Froch, who is not so easy to drop. I don't know how many times Froch has been down, not too many, I'm sure. against Taylor. I know he was down, but anyway, yeah. As I said, I just think Eubank is a more complete, fighter than Rose. Rose has a good, he can box, of course, but he lacks some of the athleticism that Eubank Jr. possesses, and it will be the decisive factor, I think. I'm not sure if this will go to the scorecards. Perhaps, both guys are tough, and Groves was stopped the first time against Froch, it was a bad stoppage very early. And on the second time, he just got caught. It can happen to everyone. But he has proven that he can take some, quite heavy punishment, And, well, Eubank Jr., he hasn't been in that many hard fights so far, but because against Abraham, it was just, very one-sided. It was just him attacking all the time. So, we'll see. Against Saunders, he kind of struggled because Saunders is a kind of tough guy who likes to mix it up, So we will see how he will manage that pressure that he will get from Groves. I think if he does, manage to take his punches, or finds a way to avoid, getting hit too much, then he will win definitely. Yeah, it will be a very exciting fight for sure. Groves said he never backs off, of course, from a good fight. Yeah, I can see it in my mind right away. I think it will be very much back and forth, but you never know. And I'd say just it's Eubank has perhaps he's the better boxer here. I mean, yeah, I think so. And both are about equal in punching power, and so Eubank, I think, will take this, let's say, decision. Yeah. Even though there's a good chance that this won't go to the scorecards. Yeah, so anyway, I favor Eubank to win. Yes, and then the biggest fight actually. Well, I can first mention that David Benavidez is fighting also. He's a very good. He's already a champion, so he's not a prospect, but he's fighting against a guy who who dropped him in their last fight when he became the champion, the youngest super middleweight champion ever. That's Ronald Gavril, and that was a split decision. Yeah, so this is, he has something to prove here, Benavides, so he will, have to just fire on all cylinders. He has 17 knockouts and 19 victories, so I think he will stop this guy, Gavril, I think, most likely. He's from Romania. So I predict a stoppage in the 10th round, something like that. Okay, then main fight. Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios. Yeah, Brandon Rios is returning. He's actually returned last year after the devastating defeat to Timothy Bradley in 2015. He's won one fight by knockout, but this is I don't think this is a winnable fight for him, because Danny Garcia is just, he's too good. Too good for him, and he's just now lost against last year actually against Keith Turner. It was a close fight, you know. So, but Rios, he's a guy that you know is now past his best for sure. And even when he was at his best, I'm not sure that he would have a chance against Garcia. So I fear this will be just another brutal beating, a brutal knockout loss for him, like against Bradley. Yeah, what more can I say? I better not say too much. I mean, I've talked enough, long enough already. So I think Danny Garcia will win by stoppage in the between the 7th and 10th round or something like that. Yeah, so that was all I had. Thanks. Thanks for watching and see you. Enjoy the fights.